What's up, guys? My name is Gabe, and welcome back to the Trojan Blade. Welcome back to a brand new video. This is a Friday, September 5th edition of the Trojan Update. Tomorrow, we do take on the Georgia Southern Eagles in the LA Coliseum. Going to be a gorgeous Saturday afternoon for all of you in attendance. Sunny, just north of 80 degrees at kick. Going to be a perfect day for Trojan football. But before we do get to kickoff, we did get some news this morning about some injury updates. We know who's in, we know who's out. Lincoln Riley also spoke about Clay Helton. Lincoln did speak on how he wants our fans to react when he takes the field. SC is also planning something special for Helton's return. And we also have some major changes coming to the transfer portal that we're going to talk about as well. But guys, if you are enjoying the videos, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Really appreciate you being here. Now let's get into it. All right, so first things first, from Connor Morissette, he says wide receiver Prince Strachan is out for the Georgia Southern game. He got hurt against Missouri State. So yeah, that one is very disappointing. We are in the midst of trying to find out who our wide receiver 3 is going to be, and Prince is certainly a contender in that. Had a dominant spring camp, kind of came back down to earth during fall camp. But yeah, I was really looking forward to seeing what Prince was going to do. He did look to get pretty tweaked on that throw on the sideline against Missouri State, so probably better to side with caution here. But yeah, that one is certainly disappointing. Man, if Corey Sims is going to make a jump, this is the time. He plays that big receiver role as well. And you're probably just going to see more balls thrown the way of the other outside receivers like Tanu Hines and like Zacharias Williams. Also on the injury front, Alex Graham and Caden Chittenden are out, and Brian Jackson is doubtful. Now, I have no idea where that Brian Jackson one came from. I see a lot of other USC fans are very surprised as well. So what that one means to me, get ready to see a heavy dosage of King Miller in that second half. I really like King Miller. He's not on scholarship right now. That's certainly going to change next year. Now, is that going to be at USC? I have no idea. He might just be playing himself into a big-time role somewhere else. That kid's going to have a hell of a career. But yeah, wishing Bryan a speedy recovery. And I do think Bryan's going to play a pretty big role this year. I could for sure see him being our goal line back. So yeah, hopefully he can get rested up and ready to go. Caden Chittenden, you would like to see him out there to get some reps. You'd like to see him kick in the Coliseum, just get used to that in-game atmosphere. But Ryan Sayeri can certainly hold down the fort until then. And man, Alex Graham, I was so excited to see him at the start of the year. Me, and I know a ton of you have been hyping him up all offseason, had an absolutely brilliant fall camp, was in line to be a starter week 1. And man, this injury just came up at the worst possible time. And as a true freshman, these are valuable games. He's missing valuable reps. So that does suck. Hopefully we'll see him back next week. Now, there was no news on Jakeem Stewart, so it sounds like he is going to play. I was hearing some rumblings out of USC that he really hasn't been a full go in practice this week. Some people inside the program are questioning whether or not he'd be ready to play on Saturday, but there doesn't seem to be any public concern as of right now. So assume he's going to play, but as we get closer to the game, don't be too surprised if he's a scratch on the injury report. Next up, from Ryan Karchi of the LA Times. On the bottom there, it says, Lincoln Riley says he hopes USC fans, quote, react with a lot of appreciation, end quote, for Clay Helton on Saturday in his return to the Coliseum. Riley said, quote, I want him to know he's appreciated by this place and always will be. And then Karchi goes on to say, when Georgia Southern runs onto the field on Saturday, USC plans to announce that the team is led by Clay Helton. That's not something USC normally does for the opposing coach, but it's meant to be a subtle gesture of respect. Okay, so announcing that the team is led by Clay Helton, I love that. I love the gesture by the university. And guys, I'm just someone with a YouTube channel. Lincoln Riley, the head coach of our USC Trojans, is saying that he hopes that you react with a lot of appreciation. Meaning you don't have to stand up and clap, even though I would. But for God's sakes, please don't boo the man. Don't embarrass the fan base. Don't embarrass the school. That's just not how Trojans react at all. I've been extremely disappointed with some of the discourse on Clay Helton this week, especially on USC Twitter. Now, I know USC Twitter is not the place to go for rational conversation. I totally get it. But the way a lot of our own fans have spoken about him is just beyond immature. And frankly, it's kind of gross. I get if you don't want to clap. I get if just hearing the name Clay Helton makes your heartbeat accelerate because you get stressed out, because you remember those horrible, horrible games. I get it. I sat through all of them living and dying with every snap just like all of you did. But I wrote about this over on my Patreon. I do not understand why we cannot separate the art from the artist in this situation. And guys, I'm sorry, but anyone that thinks that Clay Helton should have resigned and quit on his players and given up all of his money in his contract because he was hurting the school or hurting the program, I'm sorry, but that's just a stupid way of thinking, for lack of a better word. He tried his best. He worked really damn hard. Lincoln Riley says he hopes that you react with appreciation. And for whatever the hell it's worth, I hope you do as well. Last thing on this, but you also have Dion Bailey saying, man, I would love to see Coach Helton celebrated in his return to the Collie tomorrow as a Rose Bowl and conference champion coach. I know it didn't end great, but he represented the Cardinal in gold the right way throughout his time. 100% agree with every single word of that. Shout out to Dion Bailey. Really appreciate him speaking out on this. But last up, from Ross Dellinger. He says the NCAA Football Oversight Committee voted today to support a single transfer portal in January, sources tell Yahoo Sports, ushering in a significant change. The administrative committee still needs to formally adopt the change later. The 10-day window is expected to open January 2nd. So I like this in a lot of ways, and this also causes a ton of problems. This obviously punishes the teams that are playing deeper into the season because the portal is going to open when they're in the midst of a playoff run. Now, it will get rid of the spring window, which is a big deal. Guys portaling out because they don't like where they sit in spring ball is absolutely stupid, completely pointless. So I am beyond grateful that that's going away. Potentially, of course, this needs to be formally adopted, just like Ross said. But guys, with college football, it's kind of hard to find any sort of timing that's going to be good for everybody. Because the number one thing people forget, and Lincoln brought this up in today's presser, these kids are enrolling in schools. Like it matters when the semester starts. You can't just move it to February for academic reasons. But at the same time, you're also penalizing the teams that are making a playoff run. Like, it's a good thing that we have Chad Bowden in our entire front office. That'll take a lot of it off of Lincoln's plate if we were to make a playoff run this year. But still, it's another thing that's on Lincoln's mind, that's on his shoulders, that's on his plate, that's going to take away from game prep. Like, I think we're going to have to make some pretty drastic changes to the actual football calendar. Not just when the portal opens, but like when the games are played. Like, I think it's going to be moved up by 3 or 4 weeks, where week 1 is going to be. They have to do something because this just isn't tenable. And having coaches have to worry about their roster and players leaving and the transfer portal, who to bring in, who to let go. When you're in the middle of a playoff run, that is absolutely insane. No other sport in the world does that. So yeah, that is the latest update with that, and that is going to conclude today's Trojan Update. Really looking forward to seeing the boys on the field tomorrow. And guys, of course, there is going to be an instant reaction uploaded very soon after the game is over here on this channel. Hopefully, I'm in a good mood when I talk to you next, because if I'm not, something went horribly, horribly wrong. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys being here. You're all awesome, and as always, take care and fight on.